In both of Donald Trump's presidential campaigns, he relied heavily on white evangelical voters. That became possible because of evangelical leader Jerry Falwell Jr. He was one of the first high-profile people to really endorse Trump. Now, the new Hulu documentary, God Forbid, about the sex scandal surrounding Falwell and his wife also shed some surprising and disturbing light on his Trump endorsement.
Michael Cohen approached me, and Donald Trump is going to run for president, and they want my endorsement. I didn't take it seriously. I'm like, you can't be serious, right? Like, it's probably for ratings. There's no way he's actually running. He's like, no, he really wants to run, and we believe that he can actually win. If Jerry was going to get more involved with politicians, just like how his dad did, he had to ensure that all loose ends were tied
up. I am happy to welcome Billy Corben, the director of God Forbid, streaming on Hulu right now, and MSNBC columnist Anthea Butler. She's a religious studies professor and graduate chair at the University of Pennsylvania and the author of White Evangelical Racism, The Politics of Morality in America. I'm going to just say, ick, Billy. I've seen the documentary. It's extraordinary. But help our audience understand. It's like I'm throwing up in my mouth asking, what were the loose ends Jerry Falwell needed to tie up? Just gross.
Well, Jerry Falwell, the president of the largest Christian university in the world, his wife Becky, had met this young man, Giancarlo Granda, when he was working as a pool boy at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, and propositioned him. According to Giancarlo, Becky, this cougar, as he referred to her, who was twice his age, he was 20 at the time, invited him back to her hotel room and said, but there's one thing, though. My husband likes to watch. And thus began a 7-year cuckold threesome turned multi-million-dollar real estate partnership that may very well have impacted the outcome of the last 2 presidential elections.
Meanwhile, while he oversaw a university where no one could drink, no one could dance, no one could hold hands, no one could wear a miniskirt, the same university that basically held Trump mega rallies and every GOP all-star from Trump to the Trump family to Stephen Miller to Nikki Haley, take your pick, all got up on that big stage for all of those white Christian kids to be cheering and clapping while backstage Jerry's downing vodka and rocking out a threesome. Anthea, you have written about the hypocrisy revealed by this film. What were your big takeaways? And were you, like me, throwing up in your mouth?
Well, I didn't throw up in my mouth, although I have to say that one particular scene of Becky cavorting in her house really took me aback. But the rest of it didn't surprise me, I have to say. But, you know, the hypocrisy here is twofold. One is that people want morality for everyone else except themselves. Evangelicals are always trying to push moral issues down everyone else's throat. They want to tell you what to do while they gain political power by using morality as a shield. And that's what I talk about in my book. The second part of this, which is, you know, the part that I think is really important, is that racism is tied up in this. So I'm not surprised that Donald Trump got with Jerry Falwell Jr. because, you know, they are in a spot, Lynchburg, Virginia, that has had a lot of history of racism, first of all, and secondarily, the institution of Liberty University has been very tough, not just for students, but for African-American students in particular. I don't think anybody remembers this, but a lot of the students ended up leaving at the school a couple of years ago because of all the things that were happening with Jerry Falwell Jr., a lot of the African-American students. So I think what we're seeing here is a situation in which Jerry Falwell Jr. got to the top of evangelicalism, brought in Donald Trump, and then had a spectacular fall because he basically had some issues about his sex life that he wanted to continue to act out.
Well, there you go. Billy, let's play another clip from the film.
September 2012, Becky gives me a call saying, hey, do you want to meet Donald Trump? Because at the time, he wasn't who he is today. He wasn't running for president. He was just a starting apprentice. They knew that I liked Donald Trump, that I read his book, The Art of the Deal.
My brother loved business and thought Donald Trump was great, and so he was like,
yeah, absolutely.
They were bringing him into a world that he couldn't even imagine. Real estate, politics, my future, everything is here.
How deeply was Donald Trump involved with the Falwells before his presidential run? I mean, those are not two men I would have put together.
Oh, absolutely. And, I described the documentary, God forbid, as like the movie Get Out meets The Righteous Gemstones. Giancarlo, he was honey trapped into this world of religion, power, privilege, and he, by his own admission, was intoxicated by it. He's in the Falwell's inner circle, rubbing shoulders with the most powerful people in the world, meanwhile harboring this profound secret, one that Michael Cohen, in short order, discovered and helped, in fact, Jerry Falwell Jr. and Becky cover up.
What has Michael Cohen said about the film, right? Because Michael Cohen is now out there saying he was completely wronged by the Trumps. He's such a good guy. And in the film, he looks like the sleaziest sleazebag that ever was.
Well, they call him a fixer for a reason. He fixes things and he gets stuff done. He really does. And he did in this case for Jerry Falwell Jr. But I think he is somewhat backed away from the version of the story he originally told in his book. And I think what happened here is that when he became a pariah in his community, and eventually the Falwells were excommunicated from theirs. I think they found each other again, if you will, on the outside. And now he's kind of hedging his bets a bit with the version of the story he's telling now.
Anthea, is enough of America truly aware of the influence evangelicals have on politics right now?
I think they are aware. What I don't think they're aware of is how much money and power is behind it and how much hypocrisy is behind it. I think that's the real issue here. The issue is that they don't know that when these people appear on television and say that they love God and they want family values and all of this stuff, they're going down to hotel rooms in Miami, right? And they're visiting swinger clubs and they're doing all this other stuff, right? And so there's a sense in which I think these kinds of people like Jerry Falwell Jr. continue to try to bamboozle Americans into thinking they're really good people when they really aren't. And it doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you try to make everybody else follow a moral code that you yourself don't follow. And I think that, for me, is the thing that makes me the angriest.
That is the best point right there. It doesn't matter if you swing. It matters if you swing, but you judge everyone else who does. Philly Corbin, Anthea Butler,
Exactly.
thank you both.